And we are back. Wow. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Port. I am your host, Brian Barnaby, and Tony back in the building. What's going on, man? Wait, why are you so tight, dude?
A rough night for me, guys.
And as always, Mr. Hello Worlds.
Hello World.
And then, of course, we'll have Grasso back on to talk some NBA. But as we always do, we'll start in the world of Major League Baseball.
Giving chase is Judge, and he dives into the stand.
DeGrom begins the season with an overpowering strikeout of Ronald Acuna.
The wall is gone! Three-run home run! What's going on here? I love it. He drives one to the moon. High, deep, and very gone.
So, we'll start with the Yankees being off yesterday, recapping the Mets game, and close game, but in the end, Cardinals 6, Mets 5. And really what this came down to is, Joey Lucchesi getting hit hard early, 6 runs, not even 3 innings pitched. So that really put him in a hole, that they couldn't come back from. There were some positive notes, with this game. Pilar, another nice game, 2 for 4. So nice to see him coming along, hitting his second home run. Alonso, after a slower start, is getting that average up there, 3 for 4, now batting .282. But Lindor, once again, 0 for 4, 2 Ks, 6 left on base, only hitting 161. And, the Mets left 19 on base. So, 5 runs, while it's, reasonable, it's just thinking the fact, you left 19 on, you only lost by 1.
Yeah.
It has to be obviously frustrating.
Mm-hmm. Oh, dude, very frustrating. Mike is brutal over there with the lower thirds. Yes, Tony is tight. Lindor's offense is pretty trash. I mean, I guess, like you said.
I'm surprised.
Oh, how bad he's been doing?
Yeah, I thought he was going to be really nice.
I'm surprised, too. Even, considering if he even had a slow start, I would think by now he would kind of come around. I think he's 0 for 23 now in his last 23 at bats. At
least Alonso that was picking it up.
Right, exactly. What Barnes was saying. There's a lot of good things that came out of this game. A lot of good points. Nimmo has been out, but Pilar came in 2-run homer last night. That was huge. Because obviously losing Nimmo in the lineup, is pretty big. He's been really good for us. But, dude, I don't know what it is with Chess. I think that's his 3rd start now. He just spent some time at the alternate site for a little bit, and they kind of brought him back up to give DeGrom an extra day of rest, right?
Right.
Which, great decision, And, dude, like I said, his 3rd start, he hasn't made it past 3 innings yet.
Yeah.
I think he's given up 14 hits, and I think he has 10 innings on the year so far. He's given up 12 home runs. I don't know, man. He's just a very hittable pitcher right now. I mean, he's only a 2-pitch pitcher. He has a fastball, and he kind of has this changeup that kind of has a weird movement to it. They kind of call it a churve, which has worked for him in the past. That's kind of how he kind of brought down his ERA in past years by using that pitch, but it's just not working for him right now, man. I think he's kind of struggling with his location a little bit, and I guess we talked a little about St. Louis yesterday and before the show. They do have hitters on their team with Goldschmidt and Arenado. And then on top of that, DeJong showed up last night. We also talked about Bader. He came back from injury. He's been doing pretty well. DeJong.
Oh.
Yeah. DeDong.
Mao Zedong.
Love that guy, dude. So, St. Louis has definitely been a little bit better than people have expected. So it's just kind of unfortunate that, Lucchesi kind of dropped the ball in the first few innings here. And then again, I mean, the Mets had the opportunity to kind of tie up the game. I think in the 6th, when Lindor was up with the
2 men on.
2 men on, the tying and the go-ahead run, 2 outs, flies out. Even in the bottom of the 9th, too, Lindor and Alonso both get walked. Dom Smith can't bring it in, dude. He strikes out. And then that was the game, dude. So they had plenty of opportunity to win this game. In terms of batting, I mean, they had 7 hits. They got 5 runs. It's decent. But like we mentioned, left a lot of men on base, which you really hate to see. And I guess another good thing is that the bullpen did pretty well. Gesellman came in. He didn't let up any hits or runs. Reed Foley came in. He had 3 Ks in 2 innings, which is nice to see from him. And then Barnes came in for
Yeah, Barnes actually came in.
Wow.
yeah,
Okay.
dude.
Yeah, this dude named Barnes.
Yeah, so the bullpen kind of kept the game in sights for the Mets, but they just couldn't hit enough, unfortunately. So
and what do you think going forward? Because I was just looking up Carrasco. I would imagine from what they're saying about 2 weeks. I think.
Yeah, man. I think they're gonna have him pitch a simulated 6-inning game. They were even thinking about having start a game in the minors as well. So I think we could kind of see him in the next run around in the rotation.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't think they really need to, if they have to, maybe Lucchesi one more start? Or would you rather get as much you can out of like Reed Foley?
Oh yeah, dude. I would rather start Reed Foley, man. He's looking nice.
Yeah.
So yeah. But yeah, I'm kind of optimistic about that. I mean, our rotation has been like the least of our worries this season. Other than Lucchesi, so I'm not that worried. And then with Carrasco coming back, I have high hopes. I'm not that worried about it.
And then also, it came up on my news feed, Syndergaard's, rehab seems like it's going well. And they're thinking next month sometime, maybe towards the end of the month, middle to end.
Yeah, dude. So,
that'll be big, obviously.
Huge. Yeah. Hopefully it kind of comes out, throwing some heat.
Yeah, and it'll be just interesting to see, and we talked about this before, who's going to be, when everyone's healthy, the odd man out of the rotation. And I guess it's going to come down between Peterson and Walker unless Carrasco just doesn't have it.
True. Yeah. So I guess we'll kind of see. I mean, we talked about it yesterday. Probably going to be Walker. I mean, you kind of want to keep Peterson in there.
Yeah.
He's kind of doing well, develop him some more.
And I wonder, in shorter spurts, maybe Walker gets a couple more ticks on the fastball out of the pen, possibly.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So, you never can have too many good relievers. And I just think, like I said, you want to develop another starter. It's been a little while, since they developed one. Obviously Syndergaard now is 27, I want to say.
28, I think.
28. Yeah. Okay. So, DeGrom, obviously low 30s. So it's been a while since they've had a homegrown starter. Right. I think, that would be big for them.
Yeah. Peterson's the perfect opportunity, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I was just Reed Foley. He's like mid 20s or late 20s?
I don't know.
Because he came over. What the heck was it? I forgot what.
He's 25.
Okay. Yeah. So, that's a guy too, potentially. Because, I mean, you just rotations and pitching is just so variable with little injuries and stuff. You never know when you could use a guy. So that's another guy they could look into possibly stretching out.
Yeah, definitely. And he came over with the Mats trade.
Okay, that's what it was.
The Mats from Toronto, which was, I mean, turning out to be a nice deal here for us. So
yeah. So just a lot of stuff to be had. And before we look at tonight's game, just a thought here. So yesterday, Lindor did bat leadoff, and I know we kind of talked about like where you're going to put him type of thing. But at this point, I'm almost thinking you do put him lower in the order.
You got to drop him at this point. I mean, you've kept him at second. You've been giving him those extra at bats. And he's not really working
because he's basically costing you wins because you think about it. Obviously, the top half of the lineup, gets up more end of the game. So when you need him in a situation, do you want him up or would you rather have someone who's hitting?
Literally, like at this point, anyone else,
would be
better. So I mean, I think at this point you got to drop him.
Yeah.
I mean, bring up Pilar if he's still going to be in there.
I think definitely Pilar at the top, and then Nimmo if he's going to be healthy.
Yeah,
them top two would be perfect, and then Davis, in kind of the middle of the lineup, I think, and even let Lindor 7 or 8, honestly, because I mean, what if he's not doing anything anyway?
Right. Yeah.
So we'll see what they do, and then also I forgot to mention this too. How about those lights going out in the 9th inning?
Oh yeah!
Oh my God!
Right. What was that about? And it wasn't even like. it seems like someone like may have leaned up against the switch because they were out for like maybe 10 seconds. Like,
That was weird.
It was so weird.
Now, any possibility the fix was in?
I think the fix was in, dude. They froze Alonso at the plate. Actually, he ended up getting walked anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, no, I just
But
it was just
after
the Super Bowl, a
dude.
couple back.
But yeah, and the Mets, they did fire their hitting coaches.
Chili after we had talked him up yesterday.
Yeah, we did. Chili Davis and Tom Slater, the hitting coach and the assistant hitting coach, they both fired, and they brought up 2 guys from the minor leagues, Hugh Quattlebaum. I might be botching that. I think sounds about right. And Kevin Howard. They were both acquired this year. Hugh is the director of hitting development. Kevin is the director of player development in the minor leagues. So, I mean, I guess, they were acquired this year. I guess Cohen likes him, so he brought him up. I mean, I kind of like the move. It's just still interesting because there's no mention of Donnie Stevenson.
But he's got T-shirts out.
But he's got T-shirts out, and the players love this guy. He's not even like on, like I looked up like the pitching coaches, or rather the coaches for the Mets, and he's not even on the website. So
maybe it's just an unofficial role. It's kind of like go over some tips with the boys, have a couple pops.
I guess have a couple beers with them.
Nothing like official, just more of like a friend type of mentor.
So I mean, they've been hitting well since he's been with the team. So it's working, and now they have 2 new hitting coaches. So you would think that they're going to kind of mix things up with the players' approaches at the plate, specifically, hopefully Lindor, and then hopefully there'll be some big improvements there.
And so we'll look ahead tonight. Game 2 of this series, 7:45 SNY, and the living legend DeGrom back on the hill versus Johan Oviedo. So obviously you like your advantage in the pitching matchup there. And I just have 2 questions for you when it comes to this game. Number 1, how many runs do the Mets score for DeGrom tonight? And number 2, does Lindor break out or get a night off tonight?
Ooh, as much as I would love to see Lindor break out, I do not see it. But I would say they score 4 runs tonight, especially if the bats have been like they have been in the past 3 games. I can see that. And obviously I don't see DeGrom, giving up more than 2. I mean, I know that Cardinals have been pretty hot in the past few games. They swept the Pirates before us. They just beat us last night. Their bats have been hot. So, you got to assume he's going to give up a couple hits here and there, but nothing crazy. I could see him, going 7, 9, 10 Ks.
Because on the season now, is it 2 runs he's allowed the whole season?
Yeah.
Okay. So, the chance him him too at this point.
I know. So, at some point he's going to give up a little bit more. So, but yeah, and I'm, confident that our bullpen will be able to back him up. And I think it's, there's always a good chance of a win when DeGrom's on the mound. And I think we have it right now.
And, what do you think, though, just with Lindor? I mean, do you want to see him get a night off, or do you want to just see him?
No, I still want to see him in the lineup.
Yeah. Just drop him, kind of like we
drop
said.
him. I mean, he's a great defensive asset, Right. Just drop him, but I can't see him really going off yet.
Yeah. So, we'll see what developments, we have tonight. Like we said, 7:45 on SNY. And then, across town, the Yankees start their 3-game series versus the hated Houston Astros. And this is a series, everyone, on the team has been waiting for a while. They're going to bring it 7:05 on Yes, and a pretty good pitching matchup as we have Zach Greinke opposed by Domingo Germán. And just looking at this game, and we kind of touched on it a little bit yesterday, previewing the series. I think the key for the Yankees hitting wise, be patient at the plate and wait on Greinke's off-speed pitches, because, of course, they're used to gearing up for fastballs that are 95, 96 when he's throwing 89, 90. So you got to sit back. And the Yankees, obviously, the lineups changed over the years, but for his career, he struggled against the Yankees. 5.05 career ERA versus them, highest versus any opponent's minimum 10 starts.
Wow.
So you like your opportunity there. And then, kind of been a little better just from the fact of, making contact. Glaber kind of almost reminds me of Lindor. At least like I said, he's making contact, but no home runs in 98 at bats for a guy who hit 38 home runs the last full season we had. So
it's not good.
Little alarming.
Yeah, a little alarming for sure.
But when I just look at this game, and I'm sure you agree yourself, I think just to set the tone, of this series, you want to win tonight. And especially what this Houston team has stopped you from in the past,
right?
And just all things obviously cross your mind. And of course, like I said, the cast of characters has changed a little bit, but the majority of these guys were actually on the roster in 2017.
Yeah,
a lot of big Yankees.
You think anyone's gonna get hit by a pitch or what, dude?
That's a tough one, possibly, but I just think Greinke's, you're not expecting to light up Greinke, so you want her, you don't want her mind getting tossed.
True.
So maybe a little brush back, and then maybe the ump first. Couldn't you see first pitch of the game? The ump warrants both sides.
Yeah, right.
So be interesting to see if they kind of pull something off like that. And then it was funny too. Dusty Baker, the Astros manager, who
he's tired of this dude.
Yeah, he wasn't there, for these playoff series, but he did say he is bracing for a harsh reception, in the return to Yankee Stadium, which is obviously welcomed by me and many other Yankee fans for sure. So
including Matt Gabriel.
This is going to be must-see TV. And Chapman, 100-mile-an-hour heater right at Altuve's ribs. Love to see it, and the only thing there, I love it, and hopefully, actually, I like that idea better, Matt. Instead of first pitch of the game, let's save it to the end. Yeah. In a crucial spot, tight game, and let Altuve know you're not going to just sit in there and be a rat and think that you're going to get away with it. So great point by Matt there. So really looking forward to this. And the Astros come in, slightly better record than the Yankees, 15-13. They did take 2 out of 3 at the Trop over the weekend, which is, been a tough place for the Yankees to play. So momentum going in the right direction here. I think this is going to be a close series. Honestly.
Yeah. I think Greinke is going to be a good test for the lineup because, like we mentioned, they're used to kind of sitting on 95-mile-an-hour fastballs, and Greinke's like a huge mental pitcher. I feel he really messes with batters. We've seen it this year. Sometimes he'll just throw like a 56-mile-an-hour curve, just to mess with the batter that obviously not expecting it. So it'll be interesting to see how the Yankees lineup does against him.
Yeah, and I think it's great for guys like Stanton and Judge, and this is just we've talked about this many times before, but this is really when you gear up for that fastball. 90 miles an hour, those guys can hit it out of the stadium onto the street.
Yeah.
That's nothing for them. So really hope, we see them be patient here. And like I said, they've been successful at attacking Greinke before. So really looking forward to this 7:05 on Yes. And obviously, we'll recap, what happens tomorrow. And then one other baseball note, and me and Tony talked about this briefly before the show, Dustin May out for the season, Tommy John.
Yeah, dude, it's a tough loss for the Dodgers. You think about the Dodgers rotation, it hurts them obviously, but they have they have a plethora of great pitchers in that rotation and the bullpen even. So they're going to miss him obviously, but I don't, it's not going to hurt them that much. But you still hate to see a young pitcher like him kind of have to go through Tommy John right now and miss the whole season, especially since we're not even that deep into the season. Right. And he's been pitching pretty well, but hopefully he comes back and he rehabs nicely and it doesn't really affect his velocity as much.
Yeah, we see it. Almost every younger pitcher gets it at one point or another. But I always just think though, that pitch, he came out of the game over the weekend. Was that always going to happen, or is it just such a random thing? The way that his arm came through that really just tore that ligament.
I want to say the way he throws, maybe it was kind of bound to happen, and especially over time. I could see how that kind of damages his elbow like that. So, but you just hate to see it at this point in his career.
And I think it's funny. Other than Tanaka, electing not to get surgery, it seems like every time they just go
right away.
Surgery.
Just do it.
Of course, Tanaka didn't have to. But I think, like we said, it probably would have helped him with velocity down the line.
Definitely. So, it is a good decision just to kind of pull the trigger and not mess around with it. you know,
Right.
because I mean, you would damage it even more, and then
Right.
it'd be
But the funny thing
out
is,
even longer.
and we might see this with Syndergaard, but it's like they say, the surgery actually increases velocity. So it's like if May's already hitting 100, what's he going to throw 105?
yeah, right.
And I just thought about this with Syndergaard. It made me think of it too. Obviously both Tommy John guys, but just of course they call May, Ginger Guard.
Mhm.
Have you had thoughts just because he's showing some inconsistency on the mound of possibly Syndergaard being a reliever, or you just want to put full foot forward to avoid that and just have him be a starter?
Yeah, no, I mean, I would love to see him in the rotation.
Yeah.
So I mean, if he does well in the rotation, yeah, keep him in there.
Yeah.
But if he's not,
I think he would be dominant
as a reliever. Oh my God, no, he would.
Yeah.
He definitely would, but I would.
Yeah, it just
I mean,
there's more value.
Yeah, there's
Starting
definitely way
pitching.
more value in the rotation.
And I know you want to see him lined up 1 and 2, obviously.
Right.
With DeGrom. I mean, that's
That's killer,
1,
dude.
2, yeah. So interesting to see, what happens there. But hey, I think we're 4 days into May. I think it's been a very interesting start to the season, and of course, I mean there's a long way to go, but really enjoyed every minute of it.
Yeah,
Obviously,
dude.
some things both of us would have liked to see differently, but at the end of the day, we know both of our teams are right within reach with everything that they set out.
Exactly.
To do, before the
And
season
hopefully
started.
tomorrow we'll be recapping 2 wins, dude.
Yeah. I mean, we haven't done a Yankees win, Mets win call,
I
but we're
know.
making it now. So let's just have that be known, and we're gonna call it Mystic Barbs and Mystic Tony. If we come through there,
What?
Hey, Jigsaw Bungie. What up, bro?
What
What
does
up,
that
man?
mean?
It's a Twitch. You get gifted coins and different things like
no
that.
kidding,
So
dude.
what do you know? So
Look at us, dude.
look at us.
appreciate the
Made
support.
Five coins.
So that's gonna do it for our baseball segment. Quick break. Grasso NBA. And we are back, and Grasso joins us. What's going on, man?
How are you, Barnes?
Good to have you back after not seeing you yesterday. So some interesting NBA games we're going to recap, and we're actually going to start with the Lakers and Nuggets. Close game. Actually, like I predicted, I actually was thinking 3-point game ends up being a 4-point game. And AD, for the Lakers, it comes up big in a game that they just really had to have. They were on a 3-game losing streak. I think it lost 5 of 6. So AD goes 25 points, 7 rebounds. He has a big jumper at the end and a block on Capazzo, of all people.
You're your boy.
In the final minutes. And it's funny, I on the show yesterday, we were cracking up because everybody was saying they think the Nuggets are going to hammer the Lakers. So we were having a good laugh about that yesterday. And I honestly was impressed, even though I did, like I said, pick the Lakers. But, I just thought it was a tough spot being shorthanded. Anytime you're missing LeBron and against a team like the Nuggets that's very talented, you're in a tough spot.
Yeah, especially when AD's been struggling so
Right.
much. And, maybe if Campazzo was taller than 5'9", AD wouldn't
He
block
could
it.
have got the shot off.
AD's one of the few players in the NBA that could start in the paint and block a three-point
Yeah.
shot. I mean,
Yeah,
that
very
kind of
versatile.
showed off some of his
Yeah.
talent that makes him so unique. But, the Nuggets got nothing out of their guards last night.
No.
And it's still
no.
like that's the worry for me going forward in the playoffs for them is
Yeah,
they have no
Yeah.
guard play.
Jamal. That was
Jamal's
tough.
out, and then losing Barton on top
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah.
Monte Morris has been in and out of the lineup. We don't really know.
What do you guys, just kind of as your feel, what do you see for the Nuggets in the playoffs, regardless of matchup, just kind of like sealing, missing those guards in the playoffs?
I think they're probably going to lose in the first round. I mean, if they can get that 3 seed maybe and play Dallas or Portland, I think
Right.
they could win that series. I don't think they're going to beat the Clippers, depending on, we expect the Lakers to be kind of healthy at
Yeah.
least. If the Lakers are at least kind of healthy, like LeBron's playing good and AD's playing decent, I think the Lakers beat the Nuggets.
Yeah.
Clippers definitely.
What do you think, Mike, as far as the Nuggets ceiling for the playoffs?
Yeah, no, I knew it was going to be tough without Jamal, and this shows it. But I think they can make a push no matter what with Jokic and just how deep that team is. But it's tough, man. Jamal, we saw it in the bubble last year.
Yeah.
He did so much for them in so many crucial games and at pivotal moments, hitting big shots. There's not really someone who could off the dribble create for them, so it's going to be tough.
You could argue in the bubble that Murray was even more important than Jokic for that Nuggets.
Yeah.
team. The kind of scoring numbers he was putting up.
He's putting up like 40, 50-point games.
But, that team, they need both those guys.
And do you guys think there was some talk about, guys scoring and shooting well, that it was just that they're playing on the same hoop the whole time? Do you think that had anything to do with it, or not really? They're NBA players. They could shoot on any hoop.
Yeah, the hoop doesn't matter. They're all 10.
The only thing that was the no fans.
Yeah.
So like you see a TJ Warren go off, you know what I mean? It's like, where is he now?
Even Keldon Johnson before they got eliminated.
Yeah.
And then so Jokic last night, I mean, he had 32 and 9. He had a nice game. Porter Jr. 19 and 6. But like you guys said, not much from the supporting cast. They did actually get the deficit down to 2, but after losing they were down 14 in the fourth, so they made an effort, couldn't get it done, and now they're in a virtual tie with the Clippers for the 4th seed. But really a tough spot they're in after dropping this game. You got the Knicks, the Jazz, and the Nets all in a row.
Yeah, that's going to be really tough. And I just think back to last offseason when we talked about how the Western Conference and no one made moves besides the Lakers. And everyone said, like, the Lakers are the better team now with Harrell and Schroeder. Harrell played 10 minutes last night, didn't do anything. Schroeder's out with an injury. The Lakers, they don't seem to have gotten better. Like those offseason moves that we thought were going to be big, like Marc Gasol, Wesley Matthews, and everything. I mean, those guys, Marc Gasol played well last night, but for the most part, they're not really showing up. So, I mean,
I think just for the big men, I mean, I don't think there's enough minutes to have all those guys play a lot. Gasol, Harrell, AD, and Drummond.
Yeah,
somebody has to be an odd man out.
Yeah, it's a big logjam there, and I think Montrezl Harrell is supposed to come in and be like a big time scorer for this team, and he's just kind of
he probably wishes he's a
and listen, I mean, I know he's picked it up down the stretch, but I still would just vote to have Gasol be the odd man out. I mean, honestly.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't care about his passing.
Yeah, I don't know.
That honestly reminds me of talking about how Hicks is good at walking. It's like I don't really care about that.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see. And actually on Thursday, it'll be a huge matchup for the Lakers playing the Clippers. And the way things are now, that could potentially be a first round matchup, which a series we've been waiting to see. Ever since AD obviously, came to the league.
Yeah, I mean, we want to see it in the Western Conference Finals, but hey, if we get it in the first round,
I'll take first round.
Yeah, so
we just want that to happen.
Get LeBron out early so we don't have to hear about it all.
Obviously, I'm bracing and hoping for a run here, but hey, we'll see what happens. Obviously, you're always in a tough spot coming off of a championship. Everybody's gunning to dethrone you.
Yeah.
But
a bubble championship.
When you're shorthanded. So
bubble championship.
I know they're going to give it their all, and I'll be the first one to admit if they come up short. I mean, that's the NBA. That's what happens. And I think a lot of times too, when we're just looking at players and talking about championships and stuff, I think sometimes we forget just how hard it is to win a championship.
Yeah, no, it is.
Yeah, there's a lot of great play. We were just talking about Melo, top 10 scorer. Now he didn't have a championship, so
there's a lot of them.
And
Malone, Stockton,
Barkley. I mean, he was one of the greater players of his generation.
There's a long list.
Patrick Ewing.
Yeah, and then what was it? Was Jerry West 1 in 10?
1 in 10.
I think he played the Celtics every time. Yeah.
Exactly.
You got to just appreciate
back when there was 4 teams in the NBA or something.
But I thought that was big for the Lakers just to kind of tread a little more water, and they just gotta, of course, win as many games as they can down the stretch while making sure everyone's healthy. Obviously,
stay out of that playoff, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Who cares?
No, you don't want to be in that.
So I thought that
extra games too.
That was interesting. And then the other game that we previewed yesterday, we did have the Knicks Grizzlies, and the Knicks show up again, 118-104.
Stop saying it like that.
Over the Grizzlies.
The Knicks have shown up and haven't left.
Randall 28 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, and Barrett 15 and 7. And then how about D Rose? I've always thought he was a big part of this team. 25 points in 27 minutes off the bench. So what a move that was to trade Dennis Smith, who wasn't even playing, to get Derrick Rose.
Yeah, that was a huge win for
that
the
was
Knicks.
it.
And,
That was the move.
Derrick Rose is like the third scorer on this team.
Right.
I mean, last night second, but after Randall and Barrett, it's Rose. Rose has got to be that guy.
And one other thing I've been impressed by is the way they've really turned on their 3-point shooting. I mean, every night it seems like they're shooting 50% from three.
Yeah, and like I've said this a bunch. When the Knicks hit their shots, they're pretty hard to beat.
Yeah.
Because they bring it on defense. Obviously, Ja Morant's stat line last night shows that they bring it on defense. So when they shoot, I mean, it's almost impossible to beat this team.
Yeah.
Like, they could win a playoff series second round when they play one of these bigger teams in the East, they're definitely going to struggle. But I mean, I'm not going to really bet against the Knicks.
And we can't give them enough credit. I mean, 12th win in 13 games, and yesterday officially clinched winning record for the first time since 2012. So obviously that's big for them in a season where nobody really would have predicted them to even be 500, honestly, this season.
No, I thought they were like 13, 14 in the East, and here they are proving everyone wrong. Knicks fans are buzzing.
And I know, I mean, there's not much to say, Mike, that we haven't already said, but I mean, anything that you take away here, just have to add, from what we just said.
No, I mean, I'm just honestly looking to see when Mitch Robinson comes back right now, because that's even better.
It seems like they're a little tight-lipped about that. There's not really like an
I thought he was out for the year.
I don't know if it is out for the year.
Did he break his shooting hand?
I forgot what it was. I'm looking into it.
Well, if he's offhand, just put a little club on it and go out there.
That's what I'm
He doesn't
saying.
shoot the ball anyways.
Yeah.
Just go block some shots with a little club on your hand.
Yeah.
And then, on the other side here, we mentioned, Ja got bottled up completely, 2 of 14 from the floor, 8 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. Nice to see, though, Jaren Jackson Jr. back on the court. He had 15. So like I had said, I thought the key was, just seeing who's going to be on this team moving forward and get as much as you can as far as, playoff games just for experience.
Yeah. So they're saying his return should be now, soon, the end of this week. If not, they're going to try to get him in a game or two, maybe. But if not, he'll be back for the playoffs.
And I didn't see on my end, was there a particular reason Nerlens, is he hurt or
I think
something. He had something.
He had tweaked something in the game before he fell over or something. It's nothing crazy. It's just the coach's decision.
I even want to say he strained an ab muscle or something. He should be back the next
week. Someone fell and landed on him, and he got out of the way, and he landed weird.
He twisted his body.
Exactly. Twisted up his body.
And you look at this Grizzlies team. I mean, they've lost 6 out of 10 now. They're 32 and 32
slipping
on the season, half game out of 8th. And then you just look. I mean, the Pelicans are 3.5 games behind them.
Get that.
So
I want them in it.
But I think kind of those top 10 teams now are going to be the same. Just the order might change a little bit.
Yeah, it's pretty solidified. I mean, I watched the Pelicans a little bit last night. I mean,
so disappointing.
They don't seem very good outside of Zion and Brandon Ingram. I mean, Lonzo Ball does good stuff, but they just don't have anyone else on their roster, it seems.
But do you think any of it is Stan?
I was just going to say.
I don't think so. I think it's mainly injuries.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Stan's lost his touch with players.
But did he ever have a touch?
Orlando, they did respond to him really well when they got to the the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
Like that team, they played hard for him.
But it seemed like after that, then the whole thing with Dwight and wanting them fight, and it seems like ever since then, I mean, he bombed out in Detroit.
Horrible.
He's underperformed here. I mean, I think he gets a little overrated because of his name.
Definitely, I don't think he's ever been a good coach. I mean, he had those good years in Orlando with Dwight, but besides that.
He was the Heat coach. He didn't win a championship. Before Riley came out of retirement.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Okay. I don't even.
Yes. Stan Van Gundy was the coach of that team. They were hovering, and then Pat Riley was like, "You're fired. I'm coming in." NBA championship with Shaq. Then he stepped down. Spoelstra came for 2010, and that was the start.
But that year that they won with Shaq, did Stan Van start, or he would never coach Shaq? Stan Van
I think he didn't. He might have. No, he did not. They got rid of him the year before because I'm thinking about the presser and everything. He wasn't there. It was all Pat.
But really, what a career Pat Riley. All the teams,
the coaching,
general manager, president.
Yes.
I mean, when it comes to coaches and anyone else in the basketball, there's 3 names really. I mean, Popovich, Phil Jackson, obviously, and Pat Riley. I think those are the three like greatest of all time.
Like like especially Pat being able to like go from coach to president to coach and president. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like build a team, build mad good teams. Like he's been doing this.
And we've seen other guys try that and completely fail.
Yeah.
Right?
You know it's not easy.
Yeah. I mean, unless you want to throw like Jerry West's name into that.
He's good.
Because he's been great.
He's good.
Pat Riley.
And he's had to do it, with definitely a cast of changing characters with the Heat. I mean, they had the big three, and they, obviously they missed the playoffs. I think the following year after LeBron left, but they didn't completely fall.
No,
and then they had Bosch had all those health injuries.
Right.
Yes.
That
he was
really
supposed to be a
set
guy
back
for them, and then he had to retire. So
yeah.
And I just think too with any sport, I think you see more success when you have patience. Keep the same coach, the same.
Stick
Teams
it out.
don't learn from that though. They really don't.
I know.
Stick it out. I mean, sometimes you got to, even though.
Like Brett Brown, for example.
Brad Stevens.
Yeah.
Brett Brown fire him.
But if it's I don't know what it just a situation where it's not Brett Brown, but in like you're on the cusp, but you're not quite getting there. But
Mark
you're always
Jackson.
in the conversation. Mark Jackson, like it's like. You really shouldn't be so set on getting those guys out the door because you have to, like we said, how hard it is to win a championship, and you can't understate that.
And how hard it is to find a good coach. Like, there's maybe 10.
Yeah.
Like because there's coaches in the league that suck.
Yeah,
and it's funny too. Like I know
I was just gonna say Luke.
We're obsessed with bringing up Mark Jackson, but like, how is he not a better coach than Stan Van?
I know.
I think they both suck.
He's been shunned from the NBA.
But I don't know. Does he suck? Like he had a good record with Golden State. I mean, why did he suck though? What made him suck?
Yeah,
because he lost in the first round.
With a young team. With a young team. Yeah, I know. I just think that the NBA owners are real tight, and he must have done something to piss off those the Golden State Warriors.
Basically, he's like, I don't care what you say. I'm coaching my way. That's what I'm guessing.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Also, these owners like youth, like the whole youth movement in the NBA
Right.
is carried over to the coaches, and they're probably a lot easier to control.
True.
Yeah.
Like a guy who's only 40 years old and to coach, no experience, he's gonna listen.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess it's like it doesn't really, other than, and I don't even know if he's really that young, but it's like just of recent. And of course, it's really about the players, but like young coaches don't strike me as like they've won a lot of titles, and it might just be by chance because, like we said, I mean the players control the game at this point. But just something to think about. And then ahead to tonight, and we have a rematch of the classic game from Sunday. Where we have the Brooklyn Nets traveling to the Milwaukee Bucks. Like we said, I think this was a 3-point game on Sunday, and the Bucks pulled it out. Obviously, Giannis dropped 49. And Durant had 42, so it was the heavyweight battle. And the Nets here, I mean, they're still fighting. With Philly, they're 1 game back first place, so it's important for them.
Who's the tiebreaker?
Who, Nets and Philly?
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea.
I think
Philly has
Sixers, if I'm not mistaken. So this should be an interesting game here, and I think as far as everything I've seen, we should see Kyrie and Durant, obviously, because that makes a big difference, of course. And also with this, I mean, because the way these teams are seeded, if everything stayed the same, this actually could be a second round matchup in the playoffs.
Yeah, I really hope it is. And I mean, I think the Brooklyn Nets are going to win this game now. I mean, I don't think they want to see Milwaukee, everyone hyping up Giannis after that big win. And Durant's going to come out here and have another great game. The rest of the Nets, too. And they'll figure out a little bit better way to stop Giannis.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it shouldn't be that hard to keep him under 49 points this time. So,
yeah.
I mean, you would think they would have learned, something,
They just, you should have watched the defense. They were just like letting him shoot.
Yeah, they didn't care at all.
Like,
I mean, that's the thing with Brooklyn. You don't really know.
Even from mid-range, dude.
Yeah.
Like DeAndre Jordan's just staring at him and he's like this, guarding him like this, and letting him just take a mid-range, like 10-footer. You're in the NBA. You got to hit those. Like, when the playoffs happen, that's not the defense they're going to be playing.
No. That's why these games, they don't really mean anything.
I know it's tough, especially it's for those top teams like the 1s, 2s hovering 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. They don't care. They just want to get in the playoffs already. It's been a long season. They've been waiting for it since last year. That some of them Nets, some players.
Yeah, I mean, when the playoffs come, the defense turns up. I mean, and everyone knows that. And Milwaukee always struggles when the defense gets turned up. I mean, it's going to come down to, I think, the perimeter guys from Milwaukee. Can Drew Holiday be that third guy? Can he be a star player in the playoffs?
Seriously, though. Because Middleton and Giannis will give what they can.
Yeah.
Even if it's not in the best efficient way for Giannis, let's say, for example, some games, but he'll keep you in the game no matter what with his defense, too.
I think this will be another close one tonight, and I can't wait to see it. And like we said, I mean, I hope this is a second round matchup. I think
it'll be fun.
So much star power. Always great to watch stuff like that. And like we've mentioned before, the Bucks are always solid at home. They're 21-10, so definitely tough to beat. They're in Milwaukee, and as far as scoring is concerned, they actually have the highest scoring offense in the league, and the Nets are actually second. So these teams, like to put points on the board, and that probably plays into on the defensive end, probably being a little lax.
Yeah, they're also the second and third worst defense in the East as well. So
but
I mean, that has to do with pace of play, though.
Of course. Yeah, they like to push it for
You can't tell me that the Atlanta Hawks have a better defense than the Milwaukee Bucks or the Raptors.
So as far as picks here, what do you got?
I think Brooklyn's going to come out and actually play some defense tonight and win pretty easily. I think 20-point game. Big night for Durant because he can't be stopped.
You think Giannis tries, going like 8 threes attempts again, or you think he's going to?
I mean, he should be, but he's not going to make them, I don't think. Getting 2 games like that.
Do you think, though, we're still at a point, despite that happening last game, that the Nets will give it to him?
Yeah. Everyone's letting Giannis shoot. I mean, he does this all the time. It's just he does it one game, and then he'll have 3 games where he's like combined like 0 for 14.
Yeah.
And then he'll hit 4 for 8 again and go 0 for 17.
You're a bad shooter when you're in the All-Star game and you're shooting threes and you're like dancing and celebrating.
You made it like big
and all those dudes are seeing that. They know he's not confident in his shot. Like they know it,
Durant's
especially in the big moments.
Like, you're shooting.
Yeah,
I'm letting you shoot.
What do you see here, Mike?
I see a tight game, but I think Kyrie's actually going to go off because he didn't play
He's probably a little tight.
Yeah, and he's going to show out. KD will definitely have 30. Giannis will probably have around 30, but not from threes, free throw, dunks, blah blah. But Nets win a close one, and fight for that first seed.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, looking at this, very close game. I think it might be the same margin as last time, and I'm actually gonna go with the Bucks here. I think they match up well, with their perimeter defenders, and I hope Giannis hits one at the buzzer. But we'll see what happens. And then the other matchup we have tonight is the Dallas Mavericks and the Miami Heat, and these teams matched up back on New Year's. And
been a while.
Mavs won 93-83. And I think the question really for both of these teams is like, which version of the teams are going to show up? Because we've seen them play at their best this year, and we've seen them play way below that as well.
Yeah, and I mean, I've been saying it for a while. Like, I thought Miami was going to come in and get that 4 seed. I mean, they're sitting at 6. That 4 seed is still realistic. But
right.
I'm still pulling for them. I think Miami is a good team. They've just, had guys on and off the court, but Jimmy Butler, I think he's a great leader for this team. I think he's going to be a good defender on Luka. And what we don't know, I mean, is KP even going to play? That's always kind of like a game time decision.
Yeah.
But if he does, I mean, Bam's just going to bully him all night.
I mean, at this point, I'm just going to assume he's out for the season. I mean, like little injuries he's had.
He'll play a game every now and then.
Yeah.
But I mean, even if he does, Bam's just going to push him around.
But this is a very important game, for both of these teams. The Mavs are a half game ahead of the Blazers, to avoid that play-in game, and the Heat are a game ahead of Boston to avoid their play-in game. So, and you look at Miami, this might be a case, just like kind of how we saw last year, where they're peaking at the right time. I mean, they've won 3 straight, 7 out of 10, and they always play well at home. They're 19-14 at home. So I kind of think too, and we've talked a lot about Luka, with the turnovers. Do you think the Heat's defense, the way they play, the way they're set up, might cause some problems for Luka potentially?
Yeah, I mean, I think Luka, let's see, over under 10 turnovers. He might be over tonight. Yeah, and Luka's got to do everything for Dallas.
Everything,
we see him
dude.
he gets so frustrated. All he does is complain now.
I'd be too.
I hate watching Luka play now.
I'd be
He
frustrated
went from being
too.
like one of my favorite players to watch to now all he does is just bitch and complain, and I hate watching him now. So
you know what it
obviously
almost
pulling
reminds
for
me of,
Miami.
and I think Tony would remember this. A-Rod, okay, in the playoffs with the Yankees, every time the series would end, he would be at bat, okay? He'd let a pitch go right down the middle, and then he would hold his bat and go like that every single time. It's like, swing the bat, dude. How many times would he do that, though? Dude, it was insane.
Yeah.
So that just kind of funny, just reminded me of that there. But I think this is going to be a fun game to watch, tightly contested. And what do you see here?
I think Miami's going to win. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, but
yeah.
I'm taking Butler and Bam over Luka and KP.
And you think kind of like mid-90s or potentially even low 90s here?
Probably. I think it might get into the hundreds just still regular season. But
right.
These teams are not, Dallas can score, but these teams don't put up a ton of points that much. So
what do you think, Mike?
I don't see Tim Hardaway dropping 40. I do see a Heat win, but I see a close game. Luka's going to keep him in it. I feel bad for him because that team is just garbage, dude. Really is bad. So hopefully, like the next couple of years, they could. I trust Mark Cuban to put a team around him, but I wouldn't be surprised if things. He likes to win, Luka. He's not a loser. So. I could see him leaving
at 16 years old.
I could see him leaving at some point because he's not happy there if they don't make some serious changes over there because it's tough, dude. It's tough with that team. They're just a bunch of bootleg role players on this team. They're not even good ones.
And just off the top of my head, I mean, just as far as what you could do, I mean, obviously the first thing that comes to mind, and you kind of just got him, is trade Porzingis.
I know.
And other than that, almost clear everyone off the roster.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you going to get though for Porzingis? Like a second-round pick, maybe?
Well,
who wants him at this
no.
point?
I think you could get like from a team that's playoffs first rounder.
But Dallas doesn't even want that,
right? And they don't even have a pick this year. So I'm saying they're kind of backs against the wall. And is Hardaway Jr. going to be? Because I know he had that Knicks big contract, but it might be the last year of it. I don't
Probably
even know.
is. It might even be a lifetime deal.
But actually, looking at this game, while I agree with you guys, the Heat are definitely just more of a sound team. I've also seen them just lay eggs, and I think this might be another one where this happens. And who knows? Maybe Hardaway's buzzing again. But
it's his dad's team.
I think Luka goes for 40, triple double, and let's say Dallas by 5.
I think Luka gets locked up, gets 2 technicals, gets suspended.
Or actually, he might have a quad double with the 10 turnovers, right?
There you go.
There you go. That's more realistic.
But hey, I think it'll be entertaining. So we'll see what happens.
And before we close out, I just have a couple trade scenario rumors that are hovering.
Is this breaking news?
I mean, they're new. It's new news,
Okay.
and like there's one that's not a realistic one, but they're
Put your
other.
GM hat on, Barnes.
Yeah. So
All right.
you could just say hot or not, just quickly because I only have 1% battery, of course. So Cleveland Cavaliers receive Andrew Wiggins for Kevin Love in 2021 first-round pick, top 5 protected.
Love it. Love it.
Love's
All right.
finished.
Love it for the Warriors.
No, for the Warriors, yeah.
Love it for the Warriors.
Yeah.
You don't think Love's finished?
No.
He's fine.
Dude, he's never been athletic. He can still play, I'm telling you.
All right.
Buddy Hield, Detroit Pistons receive Buddy Hield. Sacramento Kings receive Mason Plumlee, Sakao Dembayo, 2021 second-round pick via Charlotte, and 2021 second-round pick via Toronto.
Both teams are trash. So
Right.
And I would, I'd rather keep Buddy.
No, I know. If you're
I'm trading. I like that for the Kings.
there's mad picks. They're getting a good amount of picks. They're getting Charlotte's and Toronto.
Buddy Hield makes a lot of money.
And a second-round
True.
2021
True.
pick. All right, so we're gonna scroll down. Houston Rockets receive Kelly Oubre Jr. in a sign-and trade, and the Golden State Warriors receive Eric Gordon. That'd be nice, like Gordon and Love. Little for the little playoff push right here.
Okay,
like
I
it.
mean, obviously with his three-point shooting, I think
The trade deadline's passed. These would have to be off season.
Off season, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yes, exactly.
Also, Gordon, I mean, he's kind of I don't know if
He's a dud, I think.
I know.
He's 20, and he's not as old as we think either, but I still think he's kind of washed.
I know,
for some
I know.
reason.
Well, I mean, he spent his entire 20s battling leg injury.
And on the Clippers.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
All right, so Minnesota receives Jeremiah Grant and Josh Jackson, and Detroit Pistons receive Malik Beasley, Jarrett Culver, and a 2023 first-round pick, top 5 protected.
I like that for the Timberwolves.
Yep.
Because Jeremy Grant is a good defensive player, and the Timberwolves are trash on
Yeah.
defense.
Yeah, I mean, I just think the Pistons, though, I mean, they're lacking so much talent. Grant's been great. I don't know if they want to get rid of him.
Yeah, but if he's like I think he's in his mid to later 20s.
Late
like,
20s, yeah.
Get
He's
him out of
probably
there.
25, 26.
No, I think he's older than that. He played 4 years in college.
Oklahoma, this is the one that's not realistic. Oklahoma City, Bradley Beal for Al Horford, Theo Maledon, Alexei Pukavetsky, and multiple first-round picks.
I think that trade sounds Pukavetsky. And
I
This
feel
one-
like if that trade happened, we'd be saying free Bradley Beal just on a
Again,
different team.
yeah.
Jeremy Grant, 27 years old, by the
See?
way.
Yeah.
Just turned it. March.
I'd put him somewhere else and just rebuild the whole.
I would bring
Detroit.
Stan Van back, honestly.
Oh my God, this is what I want to happen for Orlando, and even though it's the Lakers, though it's okay. Orlando receives Kuzma for Mo Bamba and a 2022 first-round pick, lottery protected.
I like that.
100%. Kuzma's, like we say, trash.
Yeah, and I would like a nice young big for the Lakers. They've always historically had young centers that they've
Yeah.
had. So
They don't have to rely on guys like Marcus Gasol.
yeah,
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I like it.
I like
so I think, a lot of moving pieces coming up this offseason. But on that note, it was another great show, guys. And we'll thank you all for joining us. Keep commenting, liking, subscribing. We'll see you all tomorrow.
Peace.